Welcome to Storytime with Sage's Dad, where every bedtime becomes a new adventure. I'm Rob, your host, and the voice behind Sage Dad Life, a podcast about the joys and challenges of fatherhood. Here, we wind down the day with stories, some classic and some reimagined. Some are full of adventure, with familiar characters, and some created with the help of my own little storyteller and listeners like you. Our tales may take many forms. Some are told in iambic pentameter, beating like a steady heart. Others in dactylic hexameter, rolling like the waves on an ancient sea. Some will bounce along in playful rhyme, while others will lull you softly to sleep. And before we begin, a big thank you to our sponsors. Tonight's story is brought to you by Love and Kindness for All, because a good story and a little warmth in our hearts makes the world a better place. So snuggle close, settle in, and let's begin. Before we start, let's get ready to rest. Take a deep breath in, let it out. Feel your body relax, your arms, your legs, your fingers, your toes, soft and still, like a feather floating in the air. Now imagine a quiet place, warm and safe. Maybe it's a cozy nest in a tall tree, rocking gently in the wind. Maybe it's a boat drifting on calm waters beneath a sky full of stars. Whatever your special place is, let it hold you close. The day is done. Your thoughts can rest. You are safe. You are loved. Take another deep breath in and out. Now close your eyes. Snuggle into your pillow and let the story carry you into dreams. Tonight's adventure is about to begin. Jack and Jill, the busy bees. Each morning bright as dawn began to rise, young Jack and Jill would open sleepy eyes. With stretching arms and faces full of cheer, they'd greet the day with voices bright and clear. It's a beautiful day. What should we do today? A grand adventure, work and lots of play. They thought a while, then clapped their hands with glee. Let's dress ourselves and be a buzzing bee. They found their stripes as golden as the sun, with fuzzy wings to make their buzzing fun. Upon their heads, 2 feelers sat upright. They flapped their arms and giggled with delight. Now, little bees, we need to start our quest to find the blooms that smell and look the best. Through garden paths they slipped and twirled around, where bright wildflowers blossomed from the ground. They gathered daisies, roses, lilacs too, and violets kissed with morning dew. Like bees, we seek the sweetest blooms in sight, and bring them home to fill our hive so bright. Back at the table, set with love and care, they placed their flowers, breathing in the air. Then breakfast came, hot pancakes on a plate, with syrup drizzled high, they could not wait. The golden syrup tastes so smooth and sweet, just like the nectar bees find as they eat. With every bite, they smacked their lips and sighed, then wiped their sticky fingers, warm inside. A buzzing bee must dance and twirl and spin to tell her friends what flowers lie within. So Jack and Jill began a playful race and spun in circles, laughing on each face. They zigged, they zagged, and fluttered all about. They stomped and clapped and gave a joyful shout. Like bees, we dance to share the things we know, a wiggly waltz to tell them where to go. Their dizzy feet soon tripped upon the ground. They tumbled, giggling, rolling all around. Then Jack sat up, his eyes so big and bright. Let's build a hive. Let's make it tall and right. With wooden blocks they stacked the walls so high, a honeycomb beneath in the morning sky. Each hexagon filled perfectly in place, a golden palace full of charm and grace. Like bees we build our home so strong and neat, a cozy hive where all our friends can meet. They stood up proud, admiring their feat, then tumbled down in laughter at their seat. The sun grew high, and soon the day was past. So Jack and Jill began their final task. They picked up toys and placed them one by one, for bees, like children, tidy when they're done. A busy bee prepares for rainy days. She stores her honey safe in careful ways. Their work now done, their room was neat once more, and so they stretched and gave a sleepy yawn. They crawled in bed and nestled side by side, a cozy hive where dreams and bees reside. Jack closed his eyes and whispered, "Jill, are you asleep?" "Not yet," she yawned, "but I won't make a peep. We worked so hard, we danced, we ran, we spun. But being bees is tiring when you're done." Their breathing slowed, their buzzing put to rest. Two busy bees asleep, in blankets dressed. The Giant's Great Soup Surprise. Deep in the hills where ancient forests grew, there dwelled a giant kind and strong, Big Blue. He loved his garden, worked with patient hand, and grew more food than one could ever stand. His pumpkins loomed like boulders round and wide. His onions shone like pearls with golden pride. Tomatoes plump would bounce upon the ground, and harvest day was cheered with joyful sound. He gathered all with care and set to cook, a bubbling pot, a ladle, and a book. With spices sprinkled, carrots diced just right, he grinned and stirred, a feast would come that night. But steam arose, the soup was far too hot. It bubbled, boiled, and made him sweat a lot. Then fluttered near a bird with feathers bright. It flapped its wings with all its strength and might. A cooling breeze so soft yet swift and true swept through the pot and chilled it through and through. The giant grinned so pleased on what befell, and turned around to fetch a spoon as well. Yet while he left, a cow with sneaky eyes crept close and spied the soup, a grand surprise. With one swift slurp, she drank it all with glee. Then licking lips, she trotted off carefree. The giant gasped, his dinner gone, oh woe! You greedy cow, how dare you steal my show? He stomped and roared and chased her through the land, through hills and fields, through valleys lush and grand. Now far away where ancient cities stood, another giant lived misunderstood. His ears like sails stretched wide upon his face, yet one was clogged and left him in disgrace. To doctors wise he went with heavy frown. They peered inside and waved and sent him down. No cause, no cure, just go and rest your head. Perhaps tomorrow clears your ear, they said. That night he tossed and turned with aching ear, until kaboom, a crash so loud and clear. From out his ear shot forth a beastly sight. Big Blue, the bird, the cow, all wrapped in flight. The cow took off, her guilt beyond disguise. The bird flew high, still flapping with surprise. The giant blinked, his hearing clear at last, then laughed aloud, forgetting all the past. Big Blue, still hungry, rubbed his empty gut. The bird chirped, what now, the night is but young. I'll cook once more, but wiser now I'll be. That sneaky cow shall not outwit me thrice. And back he went to tend his crops anew, with dreams of soup as vast as ocean's blue. As for the cow, well, no one can truly say, but where there's soup, she's never far away. The end. Treasure Island Reimagined. The evening air was thick with neon light as footsteps echoed down the crowded street, a city breathing, pulsing in the night, with strangers moving swift, yet none to meet. Young Jim, a dreamer lost in weary thought, walked home beneath the glare of vacant signs. His life was small, his fortune next to naught, a boy among the rust of painted lines. Upon the curve an old man sat in shade, his hands held tight, a phone within his grasp. His breath was short, his bones weary, decayed, and with a rasp he spoke his final gasp. A sacred lad, the kind men kill to know. He pressed the phone into Jim's trembling hand. A map, a route where only brave men go. to riches deep beneath the city's land. Jim hesitated, looking at the screen, a pulsing dot upon the winding trail. A game, he muttered, lost in thoughts, between excitement bright and hesitation pale. The old man chuckled, coughing through his breath. A game to some, to others, fate's cruel jest. But chase the path, it's written past my death, and fortune waits beyond the final test. And so he passed, his final deed complete, while Jim stood frozen, gripping tight the screen. A flashing app, its glow and rhythmic beat. The path to gold was drawn in lines unseen. With beating heart, Jim stepped onto the train, the H-line, deep beneath the city's core. A journey set to wealth or loss and pain, through tunnels dark to lands unknown before. This app, Jim murmured, showing it with care, to Squire Trelawney, dressed in suit and pride. It leads somewhere, but where? And should we dare? The squire grinned, ambition burning wide. A cache, perhaps a hidden treasure grand. The doctor, wise and king, looked less convinced. If it's a hoax, or worse, all in a liar's hand, a risk no doubt, but one that fate has rinsed. But lurking near a shadowed figure lay, a limping man with eyes that gleamed like steel. He smiled, his words a friendly soft array, yet hid beneath his charm a heart concealed. They call me Silver, just a man of trade. He tipped his hat and grinned, so full of ease. But fortune waits for those who aren't afraid. And trust me, lad, I live to ride the breeze. With each new stop, the journey pulled them in. Deeper still beneath the city's veins. Yet whispering winds spoke warnings grim and thin, that trust once placed may turn to bitter chains. The subway screeched its tires upon the track, as Silver rose, his purpose now made clear, with men behind preparing for attack. They seized the train and filled the air with fear. This ride is ours, the gold shall be as well, cried Silver, stepping forward, taking lead. Let those who stand against us rot, for now we ride to fortune, not to need. Jim held the phone, its signal flashing bright, a final clue, a beacon in the mist. You'll never have it, Jim called, gripping tight, then ducked and ran before they could resist. Through iron doors, through tracks not meant for feet, Jim fled the mutiny that tore apart the fragile peace the subway's walls could keep, now shattered in the greed of Silver's heart. They found him where the city met the green, a bench beneath the dying light of lamps. His beard was wild, his face was worn but keen, his knowledge vast, his voice like ancient chants. You seek the gold, he laughed and tipped his cap. Well, boy, you'll need to see with clearer eyes, for treasures lie beyond the flashing app, and truth is found beyond the world of lies. With guidance given, Jim and friends set out to where the map had marked in flashing glow, yet Silver too had followed full of doubt, his greed unshaken, eager still to know. They reached the spot where towers touched the sky, beneath a bridge where echoes held their throne. A chest lay there, its secrets locked inside, a fortune sought by men now turned to stone. Jim pressed the code, his fingers tense with fate. The box unlatched, revealing gleaming gold, yet written there a note for those who wait. The greatest prize is not in what you hold. Jim took his share, enough to change his fate, yet left behind the greed that claimed the rest. For Silver fled with just a lighter weight, a portion his, but lost to time's behest. And so the city roared as night turned day, a tale retold within its shifting veins. The boy who chose the brighter, kinder way had left his mark upon the subway trains. The end. Sweet dreams. Till next time on Storytime with Sage's Dad.